Thank you for joining Let's Meet Where We Eat, conversations with innovation and entrepreneurship leaders who specialize in food and nutrition. Our series is presented by Nourish Cafe and the Food and Nutrition Innovation Institute at the Tufts Friedman School for Nutrition Science and Policy. Enjoy. So, for folks who don't know me, my name is Katie Stebbins, and I run the Tufts Food and Nutrition Innovation Institute. And I'm joined here by Hallie Malley, who basically co-runs the Institute with me. She just waved. And Nicole, who's off camera, but is also the third person. She does our research for us. And this is really exciting for us today because in our Lunch and Learn series, we're promoting a sort of a hybrid here because Robin is both part of our Friedman family, and I've known Robin for a while through the USAID hub that we had here. And Robin, I was saying earlier when I met you, it was around the excitement of the bread bowl invention, which is a child getting all their minimum nutrition they need in a day through a bowl, an edible bowl made of bread. How brilliant, right? Everything you put in the bowl is sort of like a bonus. And so that has evolved, and Robin's working now with Mandala Foods in Nepal. And it was so exciting to hear about international companies, startups, innovators also thinking about how we upcycle food for a circular economy. So I think today is so great because we get to go to Nepal and learn about our colleagues over there and the innovation that they're doing. Hear what's similar and what be different. And then I know the folks at Mandala Foods are looking for feedback, ideas, information. So these guys are a startup, and it's certainly going to be helpful to have all of you put your thinking caps on and see how we can help them. So with that, I think what I'd really love to do is turn it over to these guys. I think, Robin, am I turning it over to you first, and Sophia?
Yes, you are, Katie. Thank you so much. And good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome to today's session. It is almost close to midnight here in Nepal, but we're truly grateful to have you with us, whether you're tuning in from Nepal, I know some of them are, and in the US or elsewhere. Thank you for being part of this important conversation. Special thanks again, Katie, for that generous introduction, Haley, Nicole, and the entire Food and Nutrition Innovation Institute for creating this space for our journey. My name is Robin Shrestha, and I'm honored to be here as an innovator in residence at Tufts and also as the co-founder and chairperson of Mandala Foods, Idea to Impact and Smart Bakery that Katie kind of introduced us as the bread bowl project, which actually was born from one of the inaugural innovation challenge through Tufts in Nepal. Today's theme is reimagining nutrition through circular food innovation, and that's precisely what we aim to do here today, is to kind of reimagine food systems that just don't feed but also nourish, that don't just grow but preserve, upcycle, and regenerate, and that don't just serve markets and consumers, but also uplift life sustainably. We're here today to explore how circular business models grounded in preserving, upcycling, regenerating, using climate-smart, locally led innovations can help bridge some of the deepest gap in our local food systems between nutrition and food loss and waste, between sustainability and livelihoods, and also between the global north and south. More specifically, we'll explore what it takes to implement a circular business model in resource-constrained settings like Nepal, not as a pilot only or a project, but funded by a donor agency or some other foundations, but as a sustainable, scalable enterprise that is truly scalable and sustainable. This isn't just an academic or research or policy conversation that we want to have today. It's a real-time case study of a circular enterprise that spans through the food system, from production and sourcing to processing, packaging, marketing, and reshaping consumer food environments. And that's why we're here, to share our stories, but also hear how lessons from US, like Katie highlighted, working on food recovery to branding, school meals to self-stable innovation, can inform us, to build up more practical, community-led more food models and help other, not just Mandala Food, but other similar kind of startups in South Asia. Just quickly, at Mandala Foods, our vision is simple but powerful, to turn loss into livelihood, surplus into sustenance, and waste into worth. Circularity for us is not just a technical framework, but it's also a systems approach and a social commitment for us. It's about putting women at the center, keeping nutrition at the core, and reimagining food choices with climate and dignity in mind. We foresee this session as a platform for co-learning, and Katie has highlighted enough about it. We're excited to share our journey, but even more eager to learn from all of you. Together, we hope to strengthen the work of Mandala Foods and Idea to Impact by co-developing scale-up strategies, piloting circular models across South Asia, and sharing technical expertise across borders. And before I introduce our team, there are a lot of helping hands behind us. And I want to take a moment to thank some of our collaborators. We have, I know Andrea is here, but Notando Musipe is here as well. Our two incredible tough students who've been helping us with the branding strategy. Thank you for your energy and for supporting us with the development of the strategy. To Eric Kicker, enough has been said. He's from Halo Lasso for his energy, like Sophia highlighted in the beginning, and his perspective in guiding the students and us through this branding journey, and for helping us think through people-centric branding and aligning the values of the audience. We have Lauren Sami as our international nutrition advisor, a graduate from Tufts, and congratulations, Lauren, for the new job. To our generous partners and members from the Commonwealth Kitchen, you've been very helpful for us in understanding this circularity, the concept of it, but also, the first-hand experience in learning how to do it. So I've had this opportunity to be there in person and learn, how things work and how great, you guys work. So congratulations and thank you again for that continued support. Matriarch, I don't know if Anna is here. Thank you again. Matriarch has been instrumental in helping us understand not just the benefits and the utility of circularity, but what challenges day in and day out you have to come across while implementing such a systems-based approach. We also have other partners from RTI and many more. Your support has helped us understand how circular business model works, how and what challenges are inevitable, and you have to go through it. You will not have all the answers, but you just have to keep chiming in. We keep grinding in. How should we rethink sustainable packaging and processing and strengthen our mission? Moreover, how do we set our expectations when it comes to a circular food business model? We're grateful for your continued partnership and excited to grow this journey together. And with that, I'm super excited to invite our first speaker, someone who truly embodies what it means to lead with vision and purpose. And I want to welcome Ms. Sophia Tamang, a trailblazer in Nepal's food systems transformation. She's the CEO and co-founder of Mandala Foods, Idea to Impact, and Mandala AgriFresh. Three groundbreaking ventures at the intersection of nutrition, climate, and circular innovation. Under her leadership, Mandala Foods has become a living example of what's possible when women-led entrepreneurship meets regenerative food systems. And from tackling post-harvest loss to delivering nourishing school nutrition, her work is reimagining the role of food as not just sustenance, but dignity, equity, and opportunity. So let's hear from her. Over to you, Sophia.
Hey, I think my introduction is well done. And thank you, Robin, for that. And I think before I even start, like Robin mentioned, I cannot thank Katie and Hallie enough for introducing us to the wealth of information out there, which is so difficult to find here in Nepal. It is to be very honest with you all, it's a very surreal experience for us because, like I mentioned, it's beyond sometimes our capacity and limitation to even reach out to those folks and experts out there. And like I mentioned, Eric is just one example, and for someone like me, what it really is surreal is it's just not sometimes too many technical expertise, but the way everyone has been connecting with us from a very deep-hearted level, that's something that I can never be thankful enough to Katie and Hallie for that, and FNII team for that. And coming to my presentation, hi and namaste from Nepal. It's not that windy here in Nepal, but it's really chilly and rainy here. Today, I want to share how a very personal challenge, a working mother's search for a safe, nutritious, and ready-to-eat meal for her child is now becoming a national solution connecting reimagined nutrition, livelihoods, and climate action through a circular food model. So this is a very, to be honest, a very too much of a slide out there, but you can see here. So the story began when my daughter was 6 months old and weaning, and I was working and traveling and in between countries, and I searched for something simple and a safe, nutritious, ready-to-eat fruit-based meal for her. And in most countries, and especially here, a lot of you are from the US, it's so common to find such meal in your shelf, right? And in Walmarts or one of those superstores out there, you can easily find. But for us, it's a luxury. So that absence stayed with me. And at the same time, I was working with farmers through my other company named Mandala AgriFresh. We were working with 5,000 farmers here. And every harvest season, we saw crates of perfectly good fruit going to waste, not because they were spoiled or because they were not market standard or arrived too late to the market, but it just did that people did not like the shape or the size or the color of it, and they just happened to reject it for that reason. And it was a paradox, because children here on one side were lacking nutrition in a country overflowing with fruit. And that moment, as a mother and as a system thinker, sparked what would become Mandala Foods today, a way to turn loss into livelihood and waste into nourishment. So the problem with Nepal is nearly half of all fruits and vegetables never reach a plate. They lose their freshness somewhere between farm and fork and in fields on the road, in markets, or even in the kitchens. So farmers on one hand lose income while the families on the other hand lose nutrition. We often talk about scarcity, but in the global south, the challenge is really misallocation, you see. So nutritious food lost along the value chain while malnutrition and gender equities persist at the consumer end. Through our parent company, Mandala AgriFresh, we did work to enable rural farmers to reach urban market because Nepal is very, very geographically challenged. And I always say this, that even to travel sometimes 100 kilometers is about 1 week of journey. So our farmers were not able to connect to the market. And because of and between we all think that there are cold chain absence or anything, but it could be as simple as packaging technologies or not even technology, just packaging materials, absence of these materials, right? So what we did was we worked with farmers directly and we made sure that they were able to connect to the urban market and better price. And also practice some good, not some, every post-harvest practices that would just not keep produce fresh for longer, but also give them better prices. But we soon realized something deeper. Even when fruits reached the market, many were still rejected, not for the quality, but just for their looks. And perfectly edible fruits discarded while children went without nourishment. So in 2025, we founded Mandala Foods with one single belief, and that is good nutrition should be accessible to all, and no nourishing food should ever go to waste. So we upcycle surplus and market rejected fruits, that is good harvests overlooked for cosmetic reason, into safe, affordable, and nutrient-rich food for families and schools across the country. So our approach is circular by design, and our philosophy is simple. We preserve, we upcycle, and we redistribute. So as I mentioned earlier, what began as a post-harvest project has evolved into a systems transformation model today. So what we do is at Mandala AgriFresh, we focus on keeping produce fresh and reducing loss. And through Mandala Foods, we take the loop further by linking smallholder production into nutrition access and into market demand. And to close the loop, we redistribute, and we just don't employ women in here. We empower them as a decision makers, managers, and entrepreneurs. And Smart Bakery, like Katie and Robin mentioned with bread bowl concept, is such initiative led and ran by women completely in one of the rural village of Nepal, where they serve hot midday meal in a government school at just 11 cents to 1,000 students every day. So women are at the center of our model. Circularity for us isn't just about materials, it's about agency. So this integration allows us to work across the system from production to processing to consumption, and ensuring every loop delivers social, economic, and environmental value. And as the first mover in the shelf stable school nutrition segment, we've already rescued over 4 tons of surplus and cosmetically rejected fruits, and while doing so, improved snack nutrient density by 40% and received strong acceptance of our products from our school trials. So, what we're proposing is just no longer just a theory, it is also tested. And talking about impact, it is triple layer. Economically, every dollar we are going to invest in, or we've already done that, in child nutrition yields up to $27 in lifetime returns and boosts up to farmer income by 30%. And nutritionally, just one daily fruit-based serving can meet up to 50% of child micronutrient needs. So this isn't just a business, and at least not for me, because it started from my necessity on, right? So it's a bold contribution to Nepal's commitment to SDG 2, 3, and 12, which is ending hunger, ensuring well-being, and promoting responsible consumption. So, and just sharing a little bit of my experience here, working in low resource setting like Nepal forces you to rethink innovation every single day. So we're basically doing crisis management every single day because of lack of resources, lack of expertise, and it happens every day. So and normally it's rarely about technology. It's about investing in partnerships, and not just infrastructure. It's about making the best of what we have, and that means going local and accessible, which is normally not always the best choice. But at the same time, there is a very good chance that we'll be risking good amount of investment just to build the system, because like Katie mentioned earlier, we are a startup and we don't have so much. Let's say, for example, we are not in a country where we can say, oh, I want to make a puree. Let's go and test it somewhere, or let's go in some innovation hub or incubation hub and let's try to make one. We don't have that. So we have to build everything on our own to do that. So we're risking that. But having said that, when I said this to Katie, this is the magic that happened after that. So hence we welcome any kind of support and collaboration. And, like I mentioned about FNI too. So at Mandala Foods, we are building a future where profit meets purpose and waste becomes wellness. So where a single, idea leads to sustained impacts. The circular food economy is not just about reducing waste. We really think that it's about revaluing what we have already taken for granted. And as we famously say this in Mandala Foods, 1 second chance at a time. So that's all for my presentation today, and I hope I was able to make my point clear over here. Thank you.
Sophia, there's a question, if you could just clarify really quickly, and Hallie, I'd just bring Sophia back. The point about how you guys are extending freshness, there's an actual technology you guys are using to extend freshness. Can you just talk about what you guys are doing in that?
Yes, I can. So we are using 2 types of technologies. One is cold chain technology. So we have cold storages around the country, not around the country, around the country. So we have 4 or 5 cold storages here in the city and in the village with the farmers too. So that's one way we are doing that. And the other one is we are using packaging technologies such as modified atmosphere packaging, ethylene sachet, ethylene absorbing sachets, different kind of technologies, which is normally used to pack the fresh fruits from the farm itself, and it gets transferred from farm to the market.
And my understanding is these little sachets, these freshness packets are reusable, correct?
Yes, it's biodegradable, and the packaging packet, the modified atmosphere packaging is a biodegradable one too, and also reusable.
Okay, yeah, Robin might want to
Yes.
put a link in the chat to that technology. It'd be interesting.
Sure. I just wanted to highlight that these are super cost effective as well. I think a bag costs about
11 cents again, 11 to 15 cents.
So it's very cheap for the farmers or even the traders, and so it's mostly focused on post harvest once the produce have been collected and it goes out to the market. So that's the biggest hurdle in Nepal, like Sophia highlighted. So it's quite groundbreaking that such a simple technology is such a game changer in this part of the world.
And where are these AgriFresh packets produced? Are they a product in Nepal, or are they something you guys discovered somewhere else and then imported in?
It's actually an American patented technology, which is the company name is Keep It Fresh. It's an American company. So this technology is now produced in India, which is by another company. So we actually procure from them. But just to add to what Robin said, so one of the reason why one is cost effective, but what we realized was we actually started with cold storage and all these cold chain facilities. But what we realized was because the farmers also it was so technical for farmers that they actually did not use cold storage. So it was so much and given the fact that we are not even looking for 3 months, 4 months of shelf life extension, we are only looking for 1 week or 2 weeks because the farmers only had to come to the market and they had to only have a fresh produce in a proper let's say marketable condition, right? So it was only about 1 or 2 weeks of game over here. So that's when we realized that these cheaper technologies, these easy to use technologies, which could be easily integrated, because I remember one of the farmer actually asking me, how much time does it take to integrate, because I don't want to waste my time doing it. So he actually calculated inside his head to pack 500 kgs of leafy greens. So, and then he actually told me, Sophia, this takes 1 hour extra time of me. Who's going to pay me for that? So these were the things that were actually we had to keep on reiterating every time.
But that's a really real calculation when you're looking at the
Yes,
opportunity cost of your
right,
time. I think the other
right.
thing that I just want to center while we're still recording our session is you mentioned a
Hmm.
network of 5,000 farmers. And I think
Yes.
people who are attending, I don't know about you guys, but that number really stood out to me when I think about how to build community and
Mm.
organizing. How long did it take you to build a network of 5,000 farmers, and how do you keep all of them connected as part of your network?
Yes. So it took us, so this is 2025. So we started from 2021. So it's this 4 years of marriage with me, my team, and my farmers out there. So it was actually one step at a time, one thing. And the next thing was we were and I again have to say this, we were highly supported by USAID for this. So post that, it's a bit difficult for us to maintain that relationship. But when we were working together, which we did then for 4 years, it was actually a joint mission of ours and USAID at the same time, which actually kept all of us together at that time. And I mean, I really appreciate, and I don't know how I'll ever thank for the mission, how they actually supported us and the farmers. But it was again at the same time, the main problem, we actually got connected with one problem, and that was to solve why farmers were not getting better rates. So we always thought there were middlemen. We always thought there were some traders out there who were exploiting the situation of our farmers. But then we realized that even when we were directly, because Mandala Agri-Fresh was actually directly procuring from the farmers, and we were still not being able to give better rates to farmers. And that's when we knew that there is this massive loss which was getting transferred back to the farmers, or it was actually going transferred to the consumers on the other end, forward linkage in the forward linkages. So that's when we thought that if we could just minimize this loss, farmers were getting better rates and the consumers were also getting better rates.
And do you have like a pound? I might have missed it on the slide, how many pounds of food you're rescuing now, or how many kilograms of food you're rescuing now per year, or how much you're projecting you can rescue per year?
So, so far we've already rescued more than 300 metric tons of fresh fruits and vegetables. So that is including inside the cold chain, inside with the packaging technologies. So let's say I can't exactly give you the figure how much per year, but by far we've come near to 300 metric ton of fresh fruits and vegetables so far. So this includes something that we have saved in our facility too, and also from the farmers and the traders and the market end.
Wow, that's incredible. Okay, we're going to go to question and answer, but first we're going to wind down this part of it before we open up everyone so we can finish our recording. But
Yes.
thank you guys so much for presenting today with us. This is an incredible journey in what we're learning. Everyone stay tuned, don't go away, and we'll open with a question and answer.
Next speaker He's also a co-founder and the director of growth and innovation at Mandala Foods and Idea to Impact. And then with a very sharp eye, and I'm very excited to hear him speak as well. And he's got a very sharp eye for product development, enterprise design, and systems thinking. And he's been superbly instrumental in translating the local food system challenges into bold, scalable, functional food-based innovation. And so what Sudeep does and his work at Mandala Food sits as the intersection of product development, nutrition, circular economy, and inclusive market system development. And he's been a driving force behind building this community-rooted functional food for Mandala, mostly around developing a product of food formulation that is or that are both nutritious and economically viable. So we haven't forgotten you. We just got sidetracked, but we're very thrilled and to have you with us. The floor is yours, man.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Robin, for the introduction. And my obviously sincere thanks to Tufts Food and Nutrition Innovation Institute for the opportunity to share our work here in this platform. It's an honor to be part of this conversation on how innovation can help us reimagine and transform our food system. Building on what Sophia shared about why we started this journey, I would like to focus on how we at Mandala AgriFresh and Mandala Foods are working together to build a circular food economy in Nepal, and what it is actually like to turn food loss into nutrition. Like Sophia mentioned, estimates are that around 50% of the fruits that is grown in Nepal are lost before they are ever consumed. And this includes perfectly good produce that is lost largely because it cannot stay fresh during the time it gets from rural production sites to urban markets where there is demand. And at the time, like Sophia mentioned, 5 years ago, there was no practical low-cost solution available for farmers to increase the shelf life of the product. At the same time, that could be easily integrated into the rural agriculture supply chain. And then at Mandala AgriFresh, we started experimenting with solutions that were already there, particularly in modern supply chains, but weren't absent in rural supply chains, particularly in Nepal. These technologies were unheard of. There was no research or any practical trials done. And these are simple technologies like passive modified atmosphere packaging, ethylene absorbers. We tested also thermal insulation covers, which are largely used for commercial value chain, but not necessarily rural ones. And then we had to modify them, do some trials here in Nepal to get the right kind of SOPs built up to use these products in particular fresh produce. And these simple technologies actually made a huge difference for rural farmers. It was able to extend freshness, reduce the loss they were facing. That includes weight loss. That's like loss that you cannot see basically, as produce move through long distances. And it was also increasing market access for farmers, helping them compete because rural farmers, because of the loss that they were facing, the supply chain were sort of being outcompeted by farmers who had a closer supply chain to these urban markets, right? And also the imported products. So that was a big one. But unfortunately, as we continue to work in this sphere, we realized that wasn't the end of the story. Even when fruits and the vegetables were getting into urban markets, it was being rejected, overlooked by consumers and retailers because they didn't meet some cosmetic standard or market requirement. And as a result, farmers in rural areas were not even sorting and grading their product because in the villages they had no market for those graded products or let's say rejected or a subpar harvest. At the same time, they could and the food loss was so high during the journey there. So that's where Mandala Foods became a reality, where we said we have to help the farmers because they cannot sell these unmarketable products. So even if we help them invest in technologies and solutions to get the product to urban markets, if they don't meet the cosmetic standards, they're still going to be rejected, and that still continues to aggravate the problem that exists. So as Sophia mentioned, we started buying these surplus and overlooked fruits, particularly apples, kiwis, mangoes, and strawberries are our main products right now for upcycling. And we have worked and then obviously procuring them directly from rural farmers and then transforming them into nutritious, but most importantly, shelf-stable products. And for farmers, it obviously meant that they now had a market for not only their premium product, but also what used to be unmarketable. And many of these products were largely being fed to cattle or just left to rot in the field because they didn't have much market value at the still. And right now we are producing reduced sugar, high fiber fruit purees, fruit-based beverages, and also some ready-to-eat meals options from upcycled fruits. And we are piloting these with few public schools in Nepal, supplying them in food-grade buckets, heat-resistant food-grade buckets, and trying to integrate that into existing school meal programs in public schools. We are also targeting the retail, and for families, that's direct B2C. We are in the process of developing a portable pouch, portable spout pouch that can extend the shelf life under ambient condition, which is again of critical importance to us because of weak logistics and obviously an absent cold chain infrastructure in the country. And our goal is clear, obviously, to move towards no sugar added. Right now, it's reduced sugar, but we are exploring ways and collaborating with partners to sort of understand how we can sort of make a no sugar added fruit product, that is shelf-stable and also preservative-free, that would remain fresh, tasty, and most importantly, affordable for schools and families across Nepal. And right now, to get this done, we are focusing on 3 key innovations. The first is obviously the processing technology. Now, we are currently using thermal processing to ensure safety and shelf life of the products that we are making, but we aim to transition towards a low temperature, nutrition sensitive processing like a vacuum concentrator, that would preserve more vitamins and phytonutrients while maintaining safety. And that's our next step forward in terms of the infrastructure and the technology that we'll be adopting. The second, obviously, is formulation, which is key. Right now, we want to develop clean label, no added sugar recipes that stay stable under ambient condition. But that's a really big technical challenge in a resource limited setting like Nepal, where we work, and particularly trying to serve rural public schools and families in this like complicated or poor infrastructure that we have. For now, we are supplying clean label products to schools that are closer to our processing facility. But as of right now, we are still compelled to rely on permitted preservatives to keep our products safe over longer periods of time. But this is correct for now. It's a necessary trade-off, but we are determined to overcome this. And to that end, we are sort of collaborating with food tech companies, reaching out to companies that are working in this space to understand how better we can do this while reducing sugar and also preservative, because obviously sugar is not just, it's also a preservative in most sense. And so getting rid of that and not using synthetic or chemical preservatives is a bigger challenge given the knowledge and the infrastructure that we have here in Nepal. The third is obviously around sustainable packaging. We plan to launch our retail products in multi-layer spout pouches, which is the universal standard, given its barrier properties, affordability, and for food safety reasons. But we are exploring biodegradable alternatives that meet our technical needs. But most remain a major challenge for us. Our goal is to make the product accessible and affordable for Nepalese families while staying true to our circular principle. So each of this moment for right now is focused around, we want to move away from these multi-layer spout pouches, but right now that seems to be the only option available to us. And that's where we are also seeking collaborations, any support. If anybody has or worked in, packaging or sustainable packaging that could sort of fit our needs, technical needs, we are, open to that discussion. Along the way so far, we have been fortunate to learn from incredible mentors like Commonwealth Kitchen and Matriarch Foods as well. Both are obviously pioneers of upcycled food innovation in the US. They have shared, their insights into efficient operation, food safety, and equipment design. For us, startup like ours, a small startup, those lessons have been invaluable. It has helped us turn our purpose into practice. Together at Mandala AgriFresh and Mandala Foods form two essential parts of a circular food economy. Mandala AgriFresh works on reducing food loss by helping farmers keep produce fresh and gain market access, while Mandala Foods transforms those overlooked fruits that would otherwise be discarded into safe, nutritious, and affordable food for all. Still, we face challenges, from advancing nutrition-sensitive processing technology to affordable packaging and clean label formulation. But we are evolving quickly and open to collaboration with researchers, food technologists, innovators who share our vision for a nutrition circular model. But in the end, every fruit that finds a second life in a puree or a beverage represents more than just food saved. It represents the farmers' efforts that we have respected, a child's meal that we have improved, and also a small act of climate resilience in a country where climate change is having a massive impact, affecting supply chains and food supply in general. So circularity for us isn't just an abstract idea. It's something we practice. We are doing that one fruit, one farmer, and one meal at a time. Thank you. Back to you, Robert.
Thank you, Sudeep. Wow. So as you heard, Sudeep, we can feel that what we're doing is novel and innovative, but it's not an easy task for us. But one step at a time, one fruit at a time, one child at a time. That's what we look at. Every day is a new day for us, and the challenges becomes opportunities. Before we open up, we have about 20 minutes, but before we open up, I just want to kind of summarize what Sophia and Sudeep just highlighted, and also talk a little about how Mandala Foods and Idea Impact, how we've come to understand that this work that we do is not just about nutrition. It's also about to come up with a new food culture. It's about shifting mindsets. It's about changing behavior, building partnerships, like Sophia highlighted, and how reshaping how communities think about food, not just as a commodity, but also as a right, a culture, and a catalyst for well-being. And this is not just something that has happened in the past year. This has been a joint effort with a lot of partners from policy programs, donor agencies, as well as other private sectors. So we are here as a catalyst, and we want to be that change agent, but it will not happen only from us or only by us. It has to be a network. It has to be a platform that has to come together to reframe food system, to prioritize dignity, accessibility, and sustainability. And so at Mandala Foods, we are creating real world solutions. I don't think I need to belabor on that. Sophia and Sudeep has highlighted that a lot, to make food safe, nutritious, and also desirable and affordable. What we're doing are particularly very critical for school children through our bakery and through our upcycle foods, and also for low-income families. And what we're doing here is building demand where none existed around fruits. As most of you know, low and middle income country, there are various factors, but per capita income of fruits and vegetables are very low. And so what we're trying to do is kind of build a food behavior where we kind of build demand around this. And by normalizing healthy eating and reducing reliance on highly processed imported foods, we're also trying to change the food environment and also reshape how we view food: healthy, safe, and nutritious. This transformation doesn't happen in silo. This is where North-South collaboration becomes a game changer, and this is why we are here. So as Sudeep has highlighted, our ongoing interactions with CWK, Matriarch, reminds us that the system sense that needs to happen is not just about what we produce, but how we build enterprises that nourish people, empower communities, and regenerate the planet. When ideas from places like US and Global North are reimagined through the lens of Nepal's local context, the result is not just replication, but adaptation and amplification. And so it becomes a shared journey of co-creation where global expertise fuels grassroots impact. We already have a few of the faculty members here as well, who's done a lot of work in the Global South, and is also part, indirectly also part of Mandala Foods. And I really thank for, bringing that insight, bringing that support. It means a lot to us. And with that, I just want to end the presentations and the talking from our end, and we want to hear from you. We want to hear, we want feedback, we want insights, questions, anything. And with that, Katie, if it's okay, we'll just open the floor for questions.